Welcome to Rooster Crowing. As you guys already know, the Me Too movement has made its way to Liberia. With all the sexual allegations going on against this famous guy, Dench, or whatever his name is, I was curious and I decided to do some research. Dench, yeah. If you heard some of the interviews with the young ladies, you know from the Liberian community that most of these things that they're saying is true. And I was happy to see that finally people are speaking up, and finally there's some light being shown on this situation. So today's topic: why do we as Liberians don't like talking about sex at home with our children? In the Liberian households, like, the topic of sex is taboo. Most Liberians thought themselves about sex. Let's get into this article. We're only going to focus on the first few paragraphs. I'll read, you listen. As a parent, I shy away from having to talk about sex and feel so uncomfortable when my children ask me, where do babies come from? I know it is natural to feel uncomfortable trying to teach a child about sex, but why aren't the schools helping? Pause. The first time your child hears about sex shouldn't be from school. It should be from you. When a school finally decided to tell your child about sex or teach them sexual education, that should only be a confirmation conversation. When a school finally decided to teach your child about sexual education, that should only be a confirmation conversation from prior conversation that you and your children already had. It shouldn't be the school telling your child about sex the very first time. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's time for us to get rid of that old Liberian mindset. It's time to get over that, man. It's a new age. Open your mouth and start talking to your children about sex. You brought them into this world. It's your job to protect them. Talking to your children about sex is also protecting them. So you can tell from that question right there, this person right here didn't have any sexual education themselves. If she didn't have any sexual education, how can she talk to her kids about sex? Let's move on. One of the many questions asked by Liberian women who have children is, how can one talk to their children about sex? It's really easy. Let me show you. Hey, you know what sex is? Are you having sex? Depending on how old they are. That's literally how easy it is. Come here, let's talk about it. It's going to be uncomfortable, but guess what? That's your child. Make them sit there and listen. It's time to get rid of that old Liberian mentality, that old Liberian mindset. Please, let's get rid of it. That old Liberian mindset is implanted in those people in power right now. That's why our country isn't going anywhere. If you can get it out of the children, our country will be a better place. Everything starts with the children. Everything. Bam. So that's how you do it. You talk to your children about sex. You literally just talk to them. And in a recent report released by the Ministry of Gender Development and Social Welfare, more than 50% of rape victims in Liberia are children. I know a few things that can contribute to this. I know a few things. Kids being in school with people way older than them. That contributes to rape. A man 24 years old will have influence on a 12-year-old child. A man 24-year-old in school with a 12-year-old child, 24 years old in school with a 12-year-old child, can seduce that female child. These kind of things happen in Liberia. It does. Let's keep the adults with adults and children with children. If it's not like that already. But I know back in the days in certain schools, everybody was together. Third grade grandpa, this and that and the third. This is true. You have a man who is sexually experienced in class with a child who knows nothing about it, who's probably going through these changes, who's probably feeling these things that she can't explain, and he's just right on time. Because why? You didn't prepare your daughter for those times, for that moment. She has questions that you can't answer because you guys never engage into the topic of sex ever. Talk to them. And let's separate. This is one factor. What other ways can we help reduce rape in the Liberian community other than what I just said about older people being in classrooms with kids? What other ideas do you have? Put it down in the comment if you're watching. Put it down in the comment. Like the video. Subscribe. Put it down in the comment. What other ways can we as Liberians, right? What other ways can we reduce rape and sexual assault in the Liberian community? Put it down in the comment. 50% is a big number. With the rising challenge of being a female in a underdeveloped country, sex at a young age is one of them. My daughter is 12 years old and is on family planning. It was my neighbor who told me that my daughter was having sex. I never knew. I'm assuming on family planning means sexually active. Like I said, nobody ever spoke to this mother, Masa, about sex because they were quote unquote too shy. So she is doing the same thing to her kids. If you read on, we'll just read on just to show you my example. The lack of education. I wasn't going to read on, but since I kind of just spoke about it, let's go on. She wasn't educated in that department, so she doesn't educate her kids in that department. You see how that goes down from generation to generation? Watch this. Masa, who said she lost her virginity at a very young age, has never talked to her children about sex. Never. According to her, she has seen her eldest son, who is 14 years old, sneak his girlfriend to their house on many occasions. Not once did she ever ask him what they were going to do. Even though she knew what they were about to do, because it is an embarrassing topic, she kept quiet. See that? The lack of education has been passed down from generation to generation. But we're not pointing fingers. We're not here to insult anybody. As we say in Liberia, if you not know, you not know. If you not know, you don't know. The lack of education has been handed down from generation to generation. It's sad, man. It's sad. She witnessed her son, 14 years old, sneak girls into the house, and she don't even say anything because she's too shy. It's too uncomfortable for her to just talk about sex. This young man is probably a father right now, only because she wasn't educated in the department of sex to even talk to her young child about sex. Moral of the story: the children are the foundation of the country. If we keep messing with the children, our foundation is going to be weak. Liberia is a young country. Young country. Liberia could be a force to reckon with. About 63% of Liberians are like 20-something years old. Very young country. Talk to your children about sex. Don't let them be damaged at a young age, because they are the foundation of our country. Not just Liberia. Anybody who's listening, no matter where you're from, Haiti, Jamaica, no matter where you're from, protect the children, the youth. They are the foundation. You get older, they move up. They have to prepare the other youth. That's their foundation. You know why? The reason the kids are your foundation. When you're old, there will be a certain age where you will reach, by the grace of God, to where you cannot stand on your own. You will need some kind of assistance from your foundation. This strong foundation that you have been invested in. You will need assistance from that foundation. Because when you... Oh man, listen. We can get into it. I want to make this video nice and short. I get passionate talking about this. But at the end of the day, man, protect the kids. Catch you on the next episode.